what I saw walking across that street, I will never, ever forget.
In north-central Texas, 20 miles south of the Red River border with Oklahoma, sits the town of Honey Grove. Davy Crockett discovered the area of Honey Grove when he camped there on his way to join the Texas Army in San Antonio in 1836. Crockett sent many letters back to Tennessee, telling of an area with an abundance of honey-filled trees, hence the town's name. Honey Grove bills itself as the sweetest town in Texas, and the population was just shy of 1,700 people at the time of the 2010 census. Every year the small town celebrates Davy Crockett Days, a festive time where street vendors and small events dot the downtown area celebrating the historic adventurer who had a hand in naming the town. Honey Grove is much like any other small town in rural America. It's surrounded by rich agricultural lands, creeks, and wooded areas nestled between the Sulphur and Red Rivers. It seems like the perfect little American town, but one night in 1984, something strange reared its head in Honey Grove, Texas, and only one person was witness to it. I was sent the following report through our website. One night I was awakened by my dogs barking. I heard a twig snap beside my window. I got out of bed and went to the front door. I thought my daughter's pony was loose. In the street, walking on two legs, was about a 7-foot lizard, gray in color, arms halfway to the concrete, tail in the road. He walked right under a streetlight. There was no mistaking what he was. After reading the email and speaking to the witness over the phone, I thought of the Lizardman, and I asked my friend, author, and investigator Denver Michaels what he thought of the encounter as it was told. Being true to form, Denver provided a wealth of information that is just too much to squeeze into this video, so I've included it into the article associated with this report, and the link to that is in the description. It is well worth the read. The Lizardman is reported to be a large bipedal reptile of unknown origin. Sometimes it is reported to be aggressive towards those who stumble upon it. One of the most famous sightings of a Lizardman happens to be the Lizardman of Scape Ore Swamp. When a then 17-year-old Christopher Davis stopped on a road in Lee County, South Carolina on June 29, 1988. He had gotten off work for the night, and about 2 a.m. his car got a flat tire. After he finished changing the tire, he heard a noise behind him. Turning around, he saw a 7-foot lizard-like creature running towards him from the distance. He entered his car quickly and tried to speed off when the thing jumped on the roof of his car and hung on with his claws until Davis sped down the road and desperately tried to shake it off. The creature finally came off of his car and Davis escaped, with only damage to the vehicle. The media frenzy that followed made the Lizardman a household name in Lee County. Since the 80s, there have been several additional reports of the Lizardman in South Carolina. For the most part, the media has reported these sightings as hoaxes or stories from the mentally unbalanced individuals. Not to say that there hasn't been hoaxes.
So, you may not be completely convinced by the photographic proof, but in 2015, an urban legend that went viral long before the days of YouTube is still turning heads in Lee County.
It's the mystery of this.
At Bishopville's Cotton Museum, Jansen Cox and staff keep a record of Lizardman lore, including the strange 3-toed plaster tracks taken back in 1988 by the Lee County Sheriff's Office.
It wasn't too long ago that some government agencies warned that the eclipse of 2017 might cause an increase in Lizardman sightings. Almost every report on this was done in a tongue-in-cheek fashion. Unfortunately, Christopher Davis would not live to see the resurgence of the Lizardman in the media, as he met an untimely death in 2009. This is not a story about the Lizardman of Scape Ore Swamp. This is not a story about the hoopla that surrounds the South Carolina Lizardman sighting since then. There are no outlandish or unbelievable claims made by the witness, save the fact that seeing a 7-foot-tall lizard walking upright is pretty otherworldly and otherwise unbelievable. The witness saw a 7-foot bipedal reptile, not as an aggressive monster, but as an animal crossing the road without a care in the world. The following is the witness telling in her own words what she saw that night, and it is the first time she is telling anyone what she saw walking across the road in a sleepy small town in north-central Texas in 1984.
My name is Kelly, and I'm a 55-year-old female. And in 1984, I lived in a very small town in Texas. It was called Honey Grove, Texas. It didn't have a lot of people in it. Probably at the time, maybe 12 to 1,400. And one night, I had two daughters, and I put them to bed, and I went to sleep. Well, my dogs went to barking ferociously, and up against my house, I heard twigs breaking. Well, my oldest daughter had a Shetland pony, so in my mind, I thought the Shetland had gotten loose. I got up out of bed and went to the front door. My front door had 9 panes of glass in it, and right catty-cornered from me, 25 feet, was a street light, a very bright street light. What I saw walking across that street, I will never, ever forget. I saw a lizard standing on 2 feet with his back to me. He had crossed the road, and his tail was so long, it was still halfway in the road. He was gray. I could see scales. His arms, for lack of a better word to call them, went between his hip and his knees. He was just nonchalantly walking across the road, right under the street light. Across the street from me was houses, but behind those houses was a sawmill. I was in shock. I had never seen or experienced anything like this before in my life. My world was black and white with no gray, and pun intended. He never looked my way. I never looked out. It put me in shock. I was totally in shock, and that night, as a matter of fact, I didn't go to sleep the rest of the night. I just stood there looking out my front door long before or long after he had passed beyond my field of vision. I didn't tell anybody about the sighting. This is my first time of telling it, and I was estranged from my family, and I just didn't tell no one. I mean, I didn't want to be, Honey Grove was a small town, and I did have 2 small children, and I didn't want any type of flack, I guess, coming towards me or my daughters, so I kept it to myself. I only saw him that one time. Like I said, he was just nonchalantly walking across the street. There had been other sightings back then, not of what I saw, but of Bigfoot. And I'm trying to remember the people's name, and since I've talked to you, I've been trying to remember. But a lot of times the guys would go down into the hollow there was a hollow down there somewhere, and they would want to go hunting. And the dogs would not follow them. They would not go down there, and there would be screams of it. They said, the guys would say it almost sounded like a woman in pain. And I don't know of any animal that would sound like that, but I have heard many rumors about people that have seen Bigfoot in that area along the same timeline. I didn't go to look for the creature, for this lizard. I had never seen a deer or a bear come through there, but yes, I would know what a deer was. My kid's dad was a very avid hunter. He would bring home 2-3 deer a year, so it was no deer. It had no antlers. It had scales. It was just like looking at a chameleon, if you would, that had been blown up to 7 feet, and its tail was humongous. I just want to say thank you for getting this information out to people, because there are things out there, you know, and they don't fit into our black and white areas. So, you know, I don't know what to say. I don't know where it came from. All I know is what I saw. And he walked, so he was right underneath that street light. There was no question about what he was. I think people should know that there are things out there that don't fall into the category of A to Z in our regular animal world.
If you have had an encounter with a cryptid animal, strange creature, or what you can only describe as a monster, consider submitting a report to us at www.nationalcryptidsociety.org/contact. The National Cryptid Society is self-funded, and the costs of operation are offset by the sale of our unique designs on Amazon and other platforms, but mostly Amazon. You can search National Cryptid Society on Amazon to see what we offer, and a link to our brand is in the description of this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.